There's a lot of different tones from this. This bass has a lot of tone. Hey everybody, I'm Adam Dorn, also known as Motion Worker. I'm an old friend of Marcus's, and today I'm really excited to talk to you about the Sire Marcus Miller V7 bass. This is a really exciting project, and as a matter of fact, about 4 months ago, Marcus and I were working on his new record, Aphrodisia, and we wrote a song together called I Can't Breathe. And I went to his studio, and he was on the phone, and you know, I always look through the basses because there's always new toys there. And I stumbled upon these basses, and I'm like, hey, there's a Marcus Miller bass, like, and he's on the phone. I didn't want to interrupt him, but I picked it up and I started playing it, and I was like, whoa, this thing sounds incredible. You know an instrument is good when it sounds good, not even in an amplifier. Like, you just pick it up, it feels good, it's even across the entire neck, it sounds good. So he gets off the phone, and I'm like, yo, are you making a new bass? I thought you had a different model with a different company. And he's like, no, I'm going to come out with these basses. What do you think this bass costs? And I was like, I don't know, $2,500? And he just kind of laughed, and he was like, no. He's like, the one you're holding, which actually is this one, is going to be $499. And we just started joking, because it was just like, buy them all, collect them all, and trade them with your friends. It's like, at that price, I was like, well, something's going to be up. I'm going to plug it in, and it's not going to be like, that great. And then I thought to myself, well, that's not how Marcus rolls. Marcus does stuff always on the up top. So fast forward a little while, and I get my hands on one, and it's just a phenomenal instrument. I mean, at $499, you're not going to get a better bass anywhere. And this is really an incredible concept, because if you think about it, for $499, the highest level studio musicians down to the very entry level students, they're all getting this incredible instrument. This is the Alder model. Listen to this thing. I mean, that thing has a crazy growl. Let me back it up a little bit and talk about something with the Sire company. Sire and Marcus got together, and they had what I think is a really incredible mission, which was to get instruments into the hands of kids that were of a really high quality. And honestly, I've been playing bass for about 30 years. These basses are, at this price point, I mean, it's $399. Usually a $399 bass is something a beginner gets, and very often it's something that makes a beginner stop being a musician, because the basses aren't always of the highest quality, and you're going to have issues with cheaper instruments. So the goal that they had was to make these instruments that you buy directly from them. You cut out the middleman in terms of major retailers or just buying the bass somewhere else. And basically, I don't even know how they do this. The price is insane. I mean, for $399, the last preamp I bought for my main bass was $399. So this entire instrument costs less than my preamp in my old Fender. So I do want to run you through some of the tone controls. This bass has a preamp that runs on 2 batteries, so it's effectively an 18-volt preamp. Honestly, I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen it before, but usually in really high-end boutique basses that might cost like $11,000. You know what I mean, like furniture. So let me get into actually how things work. All right? You have 5 tone controllers. When you flick this switch in this direction, you are turning off the preamp. Now normally, the preamp is going to be where all your like big booming sound is, but this is now what's called passive mode. Passive mode means simply volume and pickup selector. So this is the pickup selector. This is the bridge pickup right there. This is the neck pickup when it's in the front, and in the center, it's both at equal volume. So check this bass out with no boosted EQ, no preamp, nothing. That's a serious growl. Then, when I turn on the preamp, check this out. Sick tone. Now, the reason for that sick tone is you now have control over the treble, mid-range, and bass frequencies, and you've turned on effectively an EQ that boosts all those. So right now, these three knobs are the preamp, okay? Treble, mid-range, and bass. Everything's on. I'm going to play now with a little bit more treble to show you there's a little bit more grit. Hear that? Oof. Okay. Be careful with the treble. Treble is where you go to slap and like you'll hurt people's sinuses. So just use it with caution. The mid-range is kind of the winner here, especially at this price point, because you have two aspects of the mid-range. I got to look at it because I got to remember. But basically, the top portion of the mid-range control is where you pick the frequency. So here, let me sort of like, I'll just hit a note. Hear how it gets louder? Like more honkier, like almost like a duck. Now, down here in the secondary control, that's a sweep. So, you know, it kind of turns into math. You can start getting all sorts of crazy tones, like you start rolling mids out, so it's kind of hollow, gets fuller, it gets a little unbalanced, it's very thick. Start rolling off the pickup, the treble and the pickup. I mean, really expressive tone. So even, too. I mean, I have to say, like, I own a bass that's probably valued at like 10 times this instrument, and I actually went out of my way to play this specific instrument, this is mine, on like 3 songs on my new record because it sounds so good. This preamp, once again, I can't stress, you know, it's very even. It's ridiculous. The mid-range is an area where you're going to spend a lot of time kind of figuring out what your sound is and what your thing is. And that actually brings me to a pretty important point, especially for younger players. You know, I think that younger players, when they get this instrument and they start playing, keep it in passive mode for a little while. The cool thing about passive mode is it's going to really give you an idea of what your sound is. Your sound as a bass player comes from your fingers and your hands. The instrument is just a way of expressing that sound and that, you know, those tones. So, you know, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that if you're in passive mode, you're not boosting all sorts of frequencies and you're not sort of, you know, you're not coloring the sound and then losing sight of the fact that, you know, you really need to also work on your technique. So just be aware of that. I'm in passive mode very rarely because I love the preamp. In a sort of closing, I just want to just play a little bit so you get an idea of how expressive this instrument is. I like to play in a sort of Marcus slap technique. I'm by no means on the same level as Marcus, but it's really fun for me. So I'm just going to noodle around for a little bit, and you'll get an idea. Everything is flat. Everything is in its default, absolutely out-of-the-box setting. And this is how good this bass sounds, you know, simply there. So let me think of something. It's a beast. This thing's a machine gun. It's a $399 machine gun that will harm nobody. There you go, guys. That's the V7. This is the Alder model. $399. You get it directly from Sire. So you don't go to any major retailer. They send it to you. They guarantee that it's absolutely in pristine condition when they ship it. It comes with a gig bag. It comes with, actually I didn't put it on, but it comes with a bell cover. That's called a bell cover, that chrome piece of metal. And an Allen wrench for you to adjust the neck slightly. Don't go crazy. You can mess up your neck, but you get an Allen wrench. And for $399, shipped directly to you, ordered directly from the company, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, Sire and Marcus really want to get these basses in the hands of young musicians. You know, it's really important, you know, as we get further and further into the technology of the internet, and school programs don't exist anymore for young musicians to actually learn how to play instruments. To get an instrument of this quality at that price point, it's kind of an incredible thing. And I really hope that it translates to young players picking up these basses and showing us, you know, the Marcus Millers of tomorrow, the Motion Workers of tomorrow, the Jaco Pastoriuses of tomorrow. You know, it's really important for kids to learn how to play music, and that's why Sire and Marcus got together to release these instruments. So without much more to say other than a little bit of playing, I'm Motion Worker. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you, run to the Sire website and get your Sire V7 Marcus Miller bass.